Hi, my friends. Hey, we are live. This is my live at 5. Hey, Butch, come back on. Come back on here for a second.
Yes, sure.
This is Butch. Sorry, he's probably going. Hey, Ron, I didn't know you were going to do this. So, have you heard the joke, Butch? Why does a chicken cross the road?
I know.
But so Butch is in another country. So just so you know, so everybody here is going to know what that is. It's to get to the other side. So why does a chicken cross the playground?
I'm not sure
to get to the other slide. Pretty good, huh? Okay. I just had to tell it. I just had to tell a dad joke, a kid joke, really, what it was. So, anyway, so Butch is in the background. I'll let you jump back off, and so I've had some questions lately about interest rates and about what. So people call me and say, "Hey, Ron, what is your rate?" And it's really a hard question to answer, and you would think that that's really an easy question to answer, but it's really not. And the reason why, because there's so many different factors that go into what is your rate. Is that today's topic, Butch? Sorry, I'm just like starting to ramble.
Yes, yeah, we're talking about a rate. Yeah,
that's the topic. So the people ask me what's your rate, and I can't answer that question. Well, I can get you in the ballpark, and the reason why I can't answer that question is there's so many different factors that go into what is your rate. It's like how much you. So the questions I would ask you is, what is your credit score, and what type of a loan do you want, and are you doing a purchase? Do you want are you doing a refinance? Do you want cash out? And there's actually a lot of questions. So it's just like walking into a car dealership and saying, "Hey, how much is a car?" And they kind of look at you and say, "Well, what kind of car do you want?" And it's kind of the same thing with a mortgage guy. It's like we have to ask some questions because we can't really give you an accurate answer without asking you some questions. So have you ever wanted to get into a home, but you're not sure if you can qualify, you're not sure if you are, if you have enough down payment? And that down payment thing was one from a previous episode where we answered some questions about down payment assistance programs. So just so you know, down payment, it's not a barrier to, or lack of a down payment is not a barrier to getting into a home anymore. So, so the thing about rate is that's really not the question you should be asking. The question you should be asking is, hey, this is what I can afford for a house payment. What does that equate to for a purchase price? So that's really the question you should be asking, is say, this is my limit on getting into a house. This is what I want my payment to be. So what does that equate to as far as purchase price? Hopefully that makes sense. Now, sure, rate's going to come in. Rate will be a factor, but let me tell you a secret. There's not that much of a difference between lenders in rate. That's not where you're going to find your difference. We're going to all be pretty darn close because we all get our money from the same sources. So we're going to be pretty close. Now, we're really competitive in rates and fees, which is also another question that comes up. But if you just check with us and check with somebody else, you're going to, and check with multiple places, you're going to see that rates are actually pretty darn close between most of us. So the difference is lots of different things. And if you want to know what the differences are, between maybe me and maybe some of the other lenders out there. There can be vast differences in lenders in their services and what they provide, and if they can close on time, and what the ratios are, and if they give you some options, and are they giving you a mortgage plan. So those are some really big differences. So rate is just part of the equation, and it is important to know a rate. So if you want to know what you can afford, then call us and we can help you with what is your payment and what do you qualify for. And once we have the information from you, then we can pin down what your interest rate's going to be, because that'll vary between conventional, USDA, FHA, VA. It's like there's so many different programs. So we need to know some more information from you. Hopefully that makes sense, because I get this question all the time. Okay, so now with that out of the way, let's see if we have any questions that have come in from you guys. Bridge, is there any questions that have come in either before or during the broadcast?
It's something from before. So we got 2 questions here. Only just 2 questions on, and I'm just going to flash this on the screen now, so we can also see it here. It says, so what should I have ready before I call a loan officer for a quote?
Okay, so for a quote, and I'm assuming we're back on the interest rate thing. So if you want a quote, they really need to know, what is your goal? Are you trying to purchase? Are you trying to refinance? And then when you're refinancing, getting just what we call a rate and term refinance, which is just refinancing your mortgage and not getting cash out to pay off anything else. Or if you are trying to get cash out to pay off other things, or to do a home improvement project, or whatever you're trying to get the cash out, it makes a difference whether it's a cash out or not a cash out refinance. So it's a for purchase. We need to know about what your credit score is. We need to know what your income is, what your debts are, because that can have a factor. And then if you have a down payment, if it's a purchase, do you have a down payment? Do you want to know down payment program? Because that can play into it as well. So those are some of the things that to get a quote. Now you can get a quote without running credit and without giving a complete application, but just know that if something changes in the information you give us, it could make a difference in rate. Oh, and also when you look at interest rates literally can change on a daily basis. So today, the bond market, the mortgage-backed security market, started getting a little worse, and we had a price change, which could affect your rate. So that happens, just like stocks and bonds, they go up and down throughout the day. Mortgage rates can do the same thing. So just keep that in mind. If you're talking to me and talking to another lender, and a week later you check somebody else, it's like not even in the same ballpark anymore. There's complete differences in rates between one day and another. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. What else? What other questions do we have, Butch?
Yeah, the last one here, Ron, is there. So are we experiencing a downward trend in interest rates right now?
Okay, so you know what? I just did a podcast with Jeremy Peterson, and we kind of talked about this. That's going to be released here pretty quick. But we talked about the market and what's happening in the interest rates. So right now there's been a downward trend in interest rates for the last probably 2 or 3 weeks. But that's not the last probably 2 days. The interest rates actually have started creeping back up because there's a lot of technical signals as to why that happens. And I'm not going to get into all that right now. But when we're talking about a downward trend or an upward trend, it's not a lot. Right now, rates are fairly stable. They're in the low or high 2s, low 3% range, depending on which program and what you're trying to accomplish. So the interest rates are really kind of stable. So I wouldn't worry about whether the interest rates are on a downward trend or on an upward trend right now, because they're, even if they are in a downward trend or an upward trend, it's really slight. So I wouldn't get too worked up about it. I'm not worried personally. I'm not worried about rates getting like really high. They are fairly low right now, and I take advantage of it if you could. But they're not. They're like this right now. They're kind of going up and down and up and down. So that's where they are. And I know I'm trying to skirt that answer a little bit. And that's only because, like, in the last 2 days, if you looked at the charts, and I could bring up some charts and graphs and show you kind of where we're at. And I watch these like every day. I'm always watching these. So if you want to know where interest rates are for that day, call me, and I can tell you. So I think Butch said I can see you, Butch. Thumbs up. We're okay. The no more. Okay, we have no more. So. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about mortgages, interest rates, about what you qualify for, refinancing, doesn't matter. Call me, test me out, and I'll get your questions answered for you. My phone number, you can see it right here on the screen. It's 801-628-7667. Call me, text me, either way. Love to talk to you. We'll talk to you soon.